Once upon a time, nestled in a kingdom surrounded by misty mountains and ancient forests, there was a royal family known for their wisdom and beauty. Prince Aric, brave and loyal, was the protector of the realm, while his sister, Princess Lyra, was revered for both her kindness and her ethereal beauty. But Lyra carried a secret that no one knew, the curse that had haunted their bloodline for generations. The curse was a dark prophecy that said every princess in their family, upon reaching the age of 21, would fall into an eternal, unbreakable sleep, one that would last forever unless true love's kiss could awaken her. This curse had taken the lives of many princesses before Lyra, leaving the royal family devastated and the kingdom shrouded in sadness. The kingdom, once prosperous, now lived in the shadow of impending doom, dreading the fate of the next princess who reached the cursed age. As Lyra's 21st birthday drew near, the air in the kingdom grew heavy with unease. The people were uneasy, whispering about the curse that threatened to take their beloved princess. Lyra, too, could feel it. Her dreams were haunted by nightmares, endless chasms, cryptic voices, and faces she could not place. Her connection to the curse had grown, stronger, and she feared the fate that awaited her. But it wasn't just her. Her brother Aric had begun to have dreams as well. In his dreams, the castle was destroyed by fire, and a figure cloaked in shadow spoke of betrayal, its voice hollow and twisted. He couldn't understand it, but the fear gnawed at him. Her brother, Prince Aric, was determined to prevent the curse from taking its course. He loved his sister dearly, and could not bear the thought of losing her to a fate she didn't deserve. Aric, a skilled warrior with unmatched courage, refused to accept that the family's destiny was doomed by a prophecy. So, he embarked on a relentless quest to find a way to break the curse. Something, anything, that could save Lyra from the cruel fate that awaited her. The royal library, ancient and filled with centuries-old tomes, became Aric's haven in the search for answers. He spent countless nights poring over dusty pages, seeking any hint, any clue that could help lift the curse. He studied forgotten spells, historical accounts, and magical theories that could explain the origins of the curse, but nothing brought him closer to the truth. Time was running out, and Aric felt the weight of his failure bearing down on him. One evening, just days before Lyra's birthday, he stumbled upon a forgotten prophecy tucked away in the back of an old manuscript. The words were worn, barely readable, but one line stood out. On the eve of the princess's 21st birthday, a shadow shall rise. Only through the revelation of a betrayal shall the curse be undone. But the cost of truth will be more than any soul can bear. These words struck Aric like a bolt of lightning. He quickly deciphered the rest of the prophecy, which spoke of a shadowy figure that would appear in the kingdom just before the curse took hold. This figure, though cloaked in mystery, was said to hold the key to breaking the curse. If only the royal family could uncover the identity of the betrayer whose actions had set the curse in motion. The prophecy hinted that if the betrayal was revealed, the curse could be broken, but it would come at a terrible cost. Aric rushed to find Lyra, but even as he spoke of his discovery, he could sense a darkness creeping into the castle. The air felt thick with something ancient, as though the curse had already begun to awaken. Lyra, pale and trembling, confessed that she had felt the same presence, a cold, creeping fear had begun to settle in her heart, and she knew that time was running out. As she prepared for the celebration of her birthday, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her, waiting for her to fall into the deep sleep foretold by the curse. The night of Lyra's birthday arrived, and the kingdom seemed to hold its breath. The grand halls of the castle were adorned with flowers and candles, the celebration of the princess's coming of age overshadowed by the unspoken knowledge of the curse. The guests, once joyous and excited for the occasion, now appeared tense, their smiles forced. Prince Aric refused to let fear take hold, but he could see it in the eyes of the courtiers, the servants, and the knights. They all feared what would happen when the clock struck midnight. Suddenly, a figure cloaked in black appeared at the castle gates. No one knew who they were, and their presence sent a ripple of unease through the crowd. The stranger, with eyes like gleaming stars, approached the royal family, and with a voice that was both familiar and unsettling, they whispered to Lyra, "The curse is not as you think. It is not just magic, nor is it a simple spell. It is the result of a betrayal, one hidden in your bloodline. A betrayal that has haunted your family for centuries." Lyra gasped. Aric, protective as always, stepped in front of her, his hand instinctively reaching for his sword. But the stranger's gaze was calm, unwavering. "The betrayal," the stranger continued, "was committed long ago by a family member, someone close to your line. It was their actions that triggered the curse, a curse that will only be lifted when the truth is known." The stranger revealed that the curse was not simply a spell cast by a dark sorcerer, but a consequence of the betrayal of a royal ancestor. The princesses of the family were doomed to fall into an eternal slumber unless the blood of the betrayer was exposed and accounted for. It was then that Aric realized the true horror of the curse. It wasn't just Lyra who would suffer. The kingdom itself was at stake, for the curse would bring ruin upon the land once it fully took hold. The stranger gave Lyra a cryptic warning. "You must find the betrayer. If you do not, the curse will take root and the kingdom will fall. The one who betrayed your family is closer than you think. Trust no one." With no time to waste, Aric and Lyra embarked on a perilous journey to uncover the identity of the betrayer. They began their search within the castle itself, questioning longtime servants and advisors, looking for any trace of the dark history the stranger had alluded to. As they delved deeper into the dark history of the royal family, they uncovered secrets long buried, whispers of betrayal, jealousy, and a dark pact that had been made centuries ago. But the closer they came to the truth, the more dangerous their path became. At every turn, they encountered traps, illusions, and enemies, both within and outside the kingdom. It seemed that someone, or something, was determined to stop them from uncovering the truth. The castle's once familiar halls became a labyrinth of confusion and fear, filled with shadows that moved on their own and whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. As the final hour approached, and Lyra's sleep became inevitable, Aric confronted the truth. The betrayer, he discovered, was none other than their own mother, the Queen, who had made a forbidden pact with a dark force to secure the family's power. The queen's actions had cursed her own bloodline, dooming every firstborn princess to an eternal sleep. In a final confrontation, with the kingdom on the brink of destruction, Aric made the ultimate decision. He confronted the queen, who had become consumed by the darkness of her own betrayal. She confessed to her crimes, but explained that she had done so out of love for her family, desperate to ensure that her bloodline would rule forever. She pleaded for forgiveness, but it was too late. As Lyra fell into a deep, unbreakable slumber, Aric's heart shattered, knowing that the only way to save his kingdom was to let the curse take its course. But in that moment, the true cost of the curse became clear. The kingdom would be lost unless the betrayer's bloodline was eradicated. The final pieces of the puzzle fell into place. The curse was not just to end with Lyra, but to consume all those connected to the betrayal. The true cost of truth had arrived, and no one, not even the prince or princess, would escape unscathed. The kingdom, once filled with hope, was now cursed to fade into ruin, unless the blood of the betrayer was wiped out once and for all. As Aric looked upon his sister, the tears that fell from his eyes were not just for the loss of Lyra, but for the kingdom that had been doomed by the very blood that ran through their veins. The shadow had risen, and the price of truth was